Thank you for tuning in and checking out another episode of Unlucky, a memoir. My name is Kat. Everyone has a story. This one just happens to be mine. Well, let's see. Where did I leave off last week? I just wrecked the truck. Things were going downhill quickly with this group, and I was being pushed to the outside, threatened on a daily basis, and I knew my time was limited to where they were just going to leave me on the side of the road, alive or not. Wasn't sure, depending on how things panned out. Um, so that being said, I wasn't the only person that was being pushed aside. The person that used to sell the jobs, go door to door knocking and getting people to use our services, he was one of them, but he wasn't direct to family. So they started pushing him out slowly, treating him worse and worse, not paying him the money that he was owed. So I still remember leaving the motel that we were at, going to another part of town, and securing a relatively large job, like 9-10 grand, whatever it was. And we had started the job with a down payment and laid a good base, and it was a steep incline. We did part of it, and we had to go all the way down to the street. So we did like 10% maybe. And while doing that, the uncle that I got into the fight with before started in on me. And next thing you know, I'm standing on tamp shoes, which are wooden boards that have bindings kind of on them that you strap to your feet. And as they're laying the asphalt, you tamp it down, and it just gives you more time before you can get the roller on to roll it. So I'm have these big boards strapped to my feet when he comes over, and there's a physical altercation. And before I can do anything, it's broken up because we are at a customer's house, and I walk off the job, go down to sit in the truck, and the salesman actually wonders what happened. So I explained what happened, and he was furious because we had gotten close over the time that I'd worked with his family. And when he sees the uncle walk down to the street, he tried running them over with the truck. Luckily, the uncle got out of the way. We all leave the job for the day to meet back there in the morning. And me and the salesman go to our own hotel room while the rest of the family goes to stay at a nicer place. Well, we go, I don't remember what motel it was. It was small, it wasn't a nice motel. We get the room. I had given what was almost the last of my heroin to the father, so I had to go get more. I took the truck, went and copped, came back to the motel, went in the bathroom that night to get high. And while in the bathroom, I fell out while sitting on the toilet with a needle in my arm. I woke up to my face hitting the side of the tub and the tile floor as I fell off of the toilet. I don't know how long I was in there for, but I came to on the floor with not a nice feeling in my face. I don't know if that was a sign of things to come or what. The next morning, we pack everything up, we get in the truck, and we head to the job to meet everybody else. And when we get there, we realize we're the first people on site. I go into one of our dump trucks to grab my jacket and some other things I had sitting in there to put into the pickup truck. It was a little Dodge Magnum that we had gotten from another job that they traded as part of the payment for what we did. Mind you, this is COVID, so it couldn't get registered or any of that fun stuff, but nobody was bothering pulling people over for that. Anyway, as I come back to the truck, he walks up to the homeowner to see what's going on for the day. And he's gone for a few minutes, comes back down and gets in the pickup truck and has a look on his face. And he holds up what I believe was $7,000 or $8,000 in cash that the homeowner just paid him to complete the job. And I remember him asking me, what should we do? And I knew what he meant. And part of the dread in me knew that my time was so limited that I didn't care. I said, go. I said it in their language and just said, go. So he started the truck and we started driving, and we turned and headed north out of Philadelphia through Pennsylvania to upstate New York, right outside of Albany. It's a town called Colony, which is where he's from, and he has family there. And he knew families up there that did the same thing that we do. He also had some enemies up there, some unsure relationships up there. There's a lot going on. But on the drive, as we got maybe 45 minutes into the drive, my phone rings, and it was them asking where I was. And I said, oh, we're around the corner. Ramper's trying to get another job. I was trying to delay them. And they're like, well, just get back here right now. And I'm like, all right. And we kept driving. And then the phone starts ringing when they finally realized what had happened. And there was threats made that we ignored, because unfortunate for them, they had to complete the job. I mean, they didn't have to, but it was in their best interest to complete the job, because without completing the job, they were going to bring undue attention to themselves, legal attention, because the job was paid for and needed to be completed. So they weren't happy with that, and they begrudgingly did it, from what I understand. We continued north until we got up into upstate New York. And on the way, I remember the salesman talking to one of the people up there that ran one of the crews. It was his family, and got us put on, got me a raise, doubled my daily salary. But he also mentioned he had a pickup truck for sale that Ramper would be interested in, and it was a Lightning, which is a really nice pickup, for some money. And I don't know what he sold to Ramper for, a couple thousand. But that was probably the best thing that could have happened, because it put cash kind of in this escrow by having that truck that we could always resell. Because if I haven't mentioned, the salesman was a crack addict and smoked a lot, copious amounts of crack, and blew through money quicker than he could make it, no matter how much it was making. The more he made, the more he did. So we get there, he buys the truck, we start working for them. I find a connection up there so I can start getting high. We work with them for a while. We switched to a different family, which we weren't sure where the alliances laid, and later on it found out that they were working with the family that we had just robbed, even though there was a lot of tension between those two families at the time, from an incident previous. We went to another location far from, it was like an hour away, to work, and they ended up kind of screwing us. But the salesman did figure out a way. He went back, got a different check, and had them cancel the initial one and cashed it. So we got some cash out of that. Went back, and Ramper started, because the reason we switched families, Ramper, the salesman was screwing up because he was getting high all night and wasn't getting up in time for us to go to the job with the other people. We went back. They let us work with them again until the salesman started screwing up again. So at this point, things were desperate. Me and the salesman got into it a little bit, and he kicked me out. And at this point, I was sitting outside the motel room on the curb contemplating, because at this point I had warrants out for my arrest in Pennsylvania. So I thought, I contemplated just calling the police, turning myself in. So I'd have someplace to go. And in that time, a different family from down in Pennsylvania came up to buy a pickup truck off of the salesman and some other stuff. And when he was there, the salesman was like, I set it up. He's going to take you on. He'll let you work with him, blah, blah, blah. And kind of apologized for everything that happened. And this whole time, this gentleman, the salesman, was a little bit older. And I kind of was looking out for him, making sure that, he didn't die. And I said, listen, man, if we can squash this, I'll stay. We'll figure it out. And I did. And we went around doing some seal coating on our own, just me and him. And then he wanted to sell that Lightning pickup truck. I got it sold for $5,000 to somebody else who was staying at the motel. And it was already getting rocky with him again, and I wasn't sure where it was going. He was super, super excited and happy that I sold the pickup truck. He went to take a shower, and he just said, hey, pack the truck up. We're going to go work with that other guy. We're going to go down to Pennsylvania and work with him. And he goes, do me a favor before you pack up everything in the pickup truck. Just grab me a change of clothes out and throw them in the bathroom for me. I'm going to take a shower. I do. I go into the bathroom. He's in the shower, and the clothes he took off are on the sink. So I put a new change of clothes there, grabbed the old, walked out into the other room, and there was the $5,000 in cash in his pocket. So I proceeded to put it in my pocket, grab everything I needed from the motel room, get in the pickup truck that we technically stole from the other family, and steal it from him and leave him penniless with just his clothes in a motel room that wasn't going to get paid for. So was I heartless? It was part of the game that these families played. And I flipped the Yui real quick, took off out of the lot, ended up, I didn't want to go straight down the highway, straight into Pennsylvania, just in case they were going to follow. So I flipped, went through Manhattan, which was an adventure. Driving through the city, I've never been appreciative. I've never liked it. So I ended up pulling into Phillipsburg, New Jersey, across the bridge from Pennsylvania, where I grew up. Got a motel room there for a week, I think. Paid it up front with the cash I had just absconded with, and started hiding out because I knew they were going to be looking for me. On that note, I'm going to leave the story off there for this week. And once again, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming along, following along on this journey with me, listening to my story. It does. It means a lot. I really wish I could figure out the rhyme and reason to who watches this, when, and why. One episode gets a handful of views, and the next one gets a ton of views. But as always, I always ask, please like, share, subscribe. It just helps these videos get seen. The more subscriptions I have, the more views I have, the more likes, the plays with the algorithm, and it gets my video out in front of more eyes. Again, thank you all. I appreciate you. And with that, see y'all next week.